Hi, Bernth here. Today I will compare two similar guitars I got from Ibanez for you. The main difference is the price tag. The RGA42 costs around 400 euros, while the RG2620ZE is around 1500 euros. So let's check out the differences and see which guitar is a better fit for you. As most of you know, I endorse Ibanez and play their guitars exclusively since 2011. I fell in love with the instruments right away and they're a perfect fit for me personally. Thin necks, great tone, and I can use them for any kind of music. The first guitar I want to show you is the RGA42. This one is quite special because it's the first one they gave me back then. I used it when I was the session guitarist for the Austrian black and death metal band Bernth. This model was discontinued, but Ibanez still have a lot of similar models in this price range. My guitar tech Andy repaired it a couple of days ago, so it's as good as new and ready to tackle its more expensive brother. Since both guitars were developed for rock and metal oriented players, we will start with some heavy examples. In the end, I will also show you a direct comparison of the clean sounds. Some of the features of this guitar are an archtop mahogany body with contrast binding bolted to a maple neck with a 24 fret bound rosewood fingerboard. The components include dual Ibanez active humbucking pickups and a hardtail bridge. A very special feature is the active EQ switch, which activates a mid-cut. Let's hear how that affects the sound. As you will hear, this makes a pretty big difference. That active EQ control toggle switch is a very nice tool. It allows a bass and treble boost while cutting the mid frequencies. This also shows us that this guitar was built for the metal shredders out there that prefer this kind of sound. It works wonders for Paul muted riffs, for example. The Ibanez pickups also sound very good and have a lot of power. The neck is also as thin as you would expect from a model like this. But let's check out what 1000 euros more will buy you and if it's worth the investment. First of all, it feels very different when you play an expensive Prestige guitar like that. That's the thing I sadly can't show you in this video, but you can try it out yourself in your local music store. The main features here are a basswood body with white binding bolted to a maple and walnut neck with a 24 fret bound rosewood fingerboard. The shark tooth inlays also give this fretboard a very cool look. The body and neck are a bit thicker here, but that is not a negative thing in this case. It gives the guitar a more weighty and fancy feeling. Components include an Edge Zero tremolo bridge, EMG pickups and a locking nut here. These are the main differences. Cheaper guitars usually don't come with good tremolo systems or are not even available with one. So if that is something you like, you should go for a more expensive model like this one, or you will struggle with intonation and tuning issues a lot. I personally prefer guitars with tremolo systems because it's just one more creative tool you have as a player. The Edge Zero tremolo is a very reliable system and I never had any troubles working with it in a live situation. The second big difference is that this guitar comes with EMG pickups. As mentioned before, the RGA42 has Ibanez pickups. Both of these pickup models are active, so they generally have a far higher output gain than passive models. This means that both guitars are a great fit for you if you plan on playing rock or metal with these instruments. Passive pickups have a greater dynamic range, and there are also a lot of similar models with cool DiMarzio pickups available today if you prefer that. Let's see a direct comparison of the recorded examples now and check out if there's a noticeable difference with the high gain parts these two guitars are made for. I will also show you a clean example. So as you can hear, there are some differences. When you activate the EQ switch on the cheaper guitar, it almost sounds like the popular EMG pickups. Those still have a bit more output, but it's getting close. I like the clean sound of the Prestige model much more though. I used the neck pickup for the chords in both examples, and you only get a nice and full tone out of the RG2620ZE. Both of these guitars are not exactly made for playing ballads and pop music, but the Prestige model doesn't sound bad at all without all that distortion. The biggest advantage of buying a Prestige guitar is that it's a bit easier to play, crafted with a lot of care, and that it feels much different. Playing the short speed picking solo section was much easier with the more expensive guitar. The reliable tremolo system is also a big advantage for me. Of course, your mind and perception also play a part in this. When you know that you're about to play an expensive guitar, you will probably experience it a bit differently. A bit like tasting red wines ranging from very cheap to incredibly expensive without knowing the prices. If you don't need a tremolo system and you're into heavy music, the RGA42 or similar models they currently have available are also a great fit and feel like high quality instruments. The thing I love about Ibanez is that I never held a bad guitar in my hands, no matter how cheap it was. Even the starter models are crafted with care and a lot of attention to detail. If you want to become a better player and learn techniques like sweep picking, super fast alternate picking or music theory, check out my 10-week online course 10 Steps to Modern Shredding. As always, I left the link in the description. If you have any questions about that, I'm always available for you right at contact@bernth.at, so don't be afraid to ask. Leave a comment and tell us if you could hear the difference and which guitar you preferred, and also leave a like if you enjoyed the video. See you soon.